What's good with it? Onora Lucky Lucky Podcast brought to you by ONORA Whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey. It is ONORAWhiskey.com. And if you drink, ladies and gents, you have to make sure that you do it
responsibly.
Let's get it, Left. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Malik ZAIRE, the original Lucky Lefty himself, Shaun Davis, brought to you by ONORA Whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. Subscribe, YouTube, Lucky Lefty Network. Hit that thumbs up, it helps with the views. Leave your comments, questions, read, respond to all. Patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network, Lucky Legends Podcast, Players Only Podcast. Tap in. You already know. We are the home of the misguided passion, and we are forever committed to making sure that we spin it different. How you feeling?
Good, man. Good. Just another day, another dollar.
Kids they didn't wear you out too much today?
Now we're on spring break, man. Okay, that is.
Oh, you thanking the Lord. Well, I know you're thanking the Lord right now.
And because they was getting rowdy the last couple of days before break, so it's good.
So I don't know if you've seen. I posted a clip on my Insta reel on my SD2 Mike's Instagram page. It's a scene from Abbott Elementary where Mr. Eddie is teaching music class,
and he said, "Umbrella and umbrella is umbrella old."
A lot of kids are talking about old school music, and they're naming songs like, they like, you mean like a Millie?
Yeah,
like
that's old.
A Millie came out like 2005, and Shorty was like, I was born in 2019.
Yeah, he's like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's an oldie but goodie now.
Man, it's crazy. Kids will let you know you're old, bro. They'll let you know.
Them 2000 babies are different.
They'll let you know. That's why I constantly make sure that I have just a little bit of their lingo. Just enough to sprinkle in. Just enough to sprinkle in. Because I'm not trying to fully acclimate myself to it. Yeah. Yeah.
You can't fully acclimate because then you turn into Jim Jones and you're like, you force
Yeah.
You too young, can't dress like it. You know, you start dressing
no.
Like Kevin Hart said, he said at 40 it's all pants and slacks because jeans hurt.
Yes.
Soft waistband.
Unless you find some of that soft Japanese denim, some of the TRPS.
Yeah.
You get some of that.
Yeah, no song.
Yeah. So you might be okay with the soft Japanese denim, but you start rocking a bunch of Lees and Levi's every day, your skin starts to feel it. That's real talk.
Man, you need the soft waistband, slacks, good quality material, Pants should be a little flowy to it, man. Just a little flowy.
So, look here, man. We got a lot to get into today. We're going to talk about the spring battles, what to look for offense and defense. Is Marcus Freeman a top 10 head coach? Is Marcus Freeman a top 10 head coach?
That's got to mean something.
Yeah, I guess so. And we didn't get a chance to talk about it yesterday, but we're definitely going to get into this entire because I think it impacts our first topic. But man, it's a lot of new money floating around the ACC. New money floating around the ACC. We're going to get into it. But we're going to start off today's show, Left. And everybody, GTB questions, Super Chat, we welcome them all. Get them in. Because as soon as you put the GTB or the Super Chat up, we get to it. Try to put it up as soon as possible because we definitely want to hear from you, LL Nation. LL question of the day. One of our topics is Marcus Freeman a top 10 head coach? Is Marcus Freeman a top 10 head coach in college football? We'll talk about that coming up. So, Left, I don't know if you've seen this, right? But normally, it is always, we talk about it all the time, right? Is 2026 recruiting. Now, big picture, I think Notre Dame is doing an absolutely amazing job. We're going to watch film of Ebenezer Tuade, and we're going to watch film of Rodney Dunn, two defensive linemen out of the state of North Carolina that Notre Dame has official visits from both of those guys coming up in July already solidified. This is what I was talking about yesterday, Left. Like the official visits and unofficial visits are starting to flow in. And that's what you expected to see. And we said there would be roadblocks. Today, Notre Dame has another wide receiver on their board knocked off, right? We talked about Naeem Burrows. Naeem Burrows wasn't coming to Notre Dame.
Right. He didn't even visit.
He wasn't. No, he didn't visit. He wasn't coming to Notre Dame. Connor Salmon, somebody we watched this film, we instantly like, I'm going to be honest, Lev, he was number one on my bottom. I'm like, yo, number one, go get him. But I also heard news because it was originally Penn State, Notre Dame, with some other schools on the East Coast sprinkled in. And then all of a sudden, over the last couple of weeks, Clemson just made a power move. Don't know what really happened. They made a power move. I pointed out yesterday that I believe that we are seeing, which is you expect to see this in the short term, not in the long term. You are seeing the short-term effect of Chad Bowden's departure. Because as much as we can applaud Chad Bowden for everything that he did, we pointed out some of the flaws of Chad Bowden in yesterday's show. Not trying to be disrespectful, just trying to get people to relax to say, man, allow Marcus Freeman to do his job. Because if you look at his track record, Marcus Freeman is batting a pretty high average on his hires. Batting a pretty good average on his hires. So relax. Let him get things going. A few speed bumps, the momentum they had built up. Man, the guy left right before junior day. Your director leaves right before junior day when all of his 26 kids are coming to campus. Yeah. And then you miss out on James Blanchard, who is an outright star in the recruiting world.
Yeah.
Understandably, Texas Tech has the #1 portal class. He's showing his value. Even while looking at other jobs, he's showing his value. So now we come to the point where you get Connor Salmon to Clemson, Naeem Burrows to Clemson. Now everybody starts cutting bullets. We talked about what the board looked like. Even with those two off the board, there were still 8 to 9 wide receivers. Talking about Trent Mosley, Cade Finley, Braden Robinson, Mason James, Bubba Frazier, Brody Keefe, Zion Robinson, and then we added 3 more offers within the last week. We talked about all those guys. And today, Trent Mosley commits to USC. Mm-hmm. So that still leaves another 7 to 8 receivers that are going to be coming in. We talked about one of those receivers and watched this film on yesterday. Noah Grubb's favorite wide receiver down at Lake Mary. He'll be coming in for a visit. So as much as people want to panic, I get it, Left. But as our job, as we gave context yesterday, people were asking, why didn't we see freshman wide receivers play or get opportunities? And we had to give context. Dude, you were in 12 personnel the vast majority of the time with the offensive coordinator needing to have his best block wide receivers out there because they were going to be a run team and there was really no diversity in the passing game.
Right.
You can talk about the offensive line being the reason not being able to protect. You talk about the quarterback not being able to execute. properly throw the ball down the field consistently. Yeah, you can bring up all the reasons and excuses, or you can just flat out say, somebody was, yesterday said, man, Jawan Snyder, I don't know if we can go 4 running backs. And I said, we have 4 running backs this year.
We got it this year, yeah.
And their response was, no, we didn't. I said, yeah, Rodney Leonard was running back.
He led the team in rushing.
He was a running back. We had we had a rotation of 4 running backs in the run game.
I was getting the most carries too, so he had to be.
So this wide receiver recruiting market is different. It's different. And I think, Lef, I'm going to turn it over to you in a second. I just want to lay the ground. It's different because it's a very aggressive wide receiver recruiting market. It's totally different than what we've seen the previous 2 years. Usually, the official visits tend to determine where the top wide receivers go, or even they wait until into the fall. And you see some flips here and there, and teams still working on wide receivers, which is why I say concerning Connor Salmon, hold your horses. Relax. Let it play out. Let it play out. Trent Mosley, both parents went to Notre Dame. His brother was recruited by Notre Dame, eventually ended up in Stanford. He goes to USC. Now, I think there are 2 elements working here. I do think, the intel I gave you during the whole James Blanchard thing, right? There's certain people were talking crazy about Coach Freeman as he was pursuing James Blanchard. Certain people that were no longer at Notre Dame. I'll leave it at that. Not only that, it was out there that the list of players that were on Notre Dame's board all of a sudden were being pursued by Southern California.
Yeah.
There's no connection there. Defensive tackle Notre Dame was high on. All of a sudden, he got picked up. Trent Mosley on Notre Dame's board. All of a sudden, USC, hot on his trail. All of a sudden, Connor Salmon. Man, just all of a sudden, you just dipped. Like it was Notre Dame, Penn State. Clemson just came in. All of a sudden, even if Chad leaving impacted your relationship with Notre Dame, Penn State just faded. Just like that. It's like, what's going on? Like, why is the market all of a sudden inverted with the wide receivers? Why are they flying off the board? Tayshawn Barlow, another top wide receiver that Notre Dame was talking to for a while, commits to Wisconsin. I told you, the #1 player in the state of Illinois, 2026, Nasir Rankin, who performed at the Irish Invasion. Notre Dame liked them. They just slow played him. Now all of his offers are picking up. He's heavy in on Wisconsin. So you start saying to yourself, man, what Notre Dame fans, I feel you. You start saying to yourself, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
What the hell is going on? And I would like to say to you that Notre Dame, I don't know if they know this, Notre Dame is in new recruiting territory. And they have to learn whether or not they can continue to do what they do or did, or whether or not they truly step up and become one of the bullies on the block.
Right.
What I mean by that is that Marcus Freeman took over under Chad. Chad is running the same playbook at USC that he ran at Notre Dame. We're going to be aggressive early. We talked about it on Irish Breakdown just in the last class. Once again, since the door was opened by Brian Driscoll, I'll let it fly. Justin Thurman, Daniel Anderson were not guys that the former running back coach wanted to take early. He was like, no, for what? Look at what we have in our running back room. We don't have to take them early. Chad Bowden pushed for them to commit early and to take them early. And then they had to backtrack on both offers because the running back coach was like, yo, I never wanted to do that anyway. And now their senior film shows that don't equate to what we have in our running back. Friction. Is that part of the reason why Mr. Bowden chose to go to Southern Cal? That's some of the things we were hearing. Remember, I was sharing with you when the James Blanchard thing was going on. We were hearing rumors like Cass is saying that Marcus Freeman always sides with the coaches. This is the stuff that's being filtered down. Okay. So now Notre Dame is in a spot where they had to be aggressive and get players early and then hold on for dear life when Marcus Freeman took over. That's the game plan. And they were effective doing that. I think Drake Bowen committed. Man, you can go down the list. They had guys committed super early, right? They couldn't hold on to Keon Keeley. They couldn't hold on to Peyton Bowen. They were getting four-star. Yeah, they were getting elite talent to commit early. That was the game plan. So Chad Bowden is out there at USC. The two hottest teams in recruiting, Clemson and USC. USC is running Chad Bowden the same game he ran in Notre Dame, the exact same game. Clemson is different because Clemson was a mixture. Clemson had gotten to the point to where they were getting 5 stars and they could bully and flip a few, but they were kind of aggressive as well. They were a mixture. Yeah. Clemson has gone to a very aggressive. This is like turn up. Mm-hmm. Is it connected to the new TV money? See, new money. You know what new money. You know, you've seen the movies when somebody robs a bank and the smart one in the group is like, don't show the money. Yeah. Don't go out buying furs, cars, and bring attention to yourself. Relax, right? But it's always one in the group. It's always a couple in the group. You know what I'm saying?
Can't hold their water.
Can't hold their water. You know, what's that movie? What's the name of the movie? Oh, what? De Niro, Pesci, Nicky. Oh, Pesci was Nicky. And they thought he was going to get made. He ended up getting killed.
Yeah, it's Departed.
Man, no, that's not Departed. That's Jack Nicholson. No. Goodfellas. So Goodfellas, remember they did pull it off the Tonza joint? Yeah. And old boy walked in, his girl had on the fur. She walked in the bar, then he had the new Cadillac out front. And he's like, dude, did not tell you. Now I got to kill you. Now I got to snuff you in. Now I got to snuff you in your woman. Because you are out here showing new money. Clemson is out here showing that new money. Yeah. ACC deal just done. And they got their new revenue bumped up. Oh, they got Dabo was like, oh, I got new money. I got new budget. Oh, I'm about to make it happen. I'm about to get extra aggressive. So I can't be mad at either. I can't be mad at Chad running the same program that SHAUN was successful at Notre Dame. Can't be mad at that. Can't be mad at Clemson showing new money. Can't be mad at Clemson showing new money being aggressive. They both have to hold on for dear life. See, that's the cost of being aggressive early in recruiting. You got to hold on for dear life because a lot can happen from March to December. A whole lot can happen from March to December. That's why I tell people, relax. For Notre Dame, it's all about the visits. We need to see I need to see 5 to 7 spring visits from wide receivers at minimum.
Concerted effort on it.
If I don't see 5 to 7 spring visits from wide receivers, then I'll start worrying. Right. I'll start worrying. Because as I said before, and Mike Martin said this in his own way, stop worrying about we're recruiting the top 5-star elite wide receivers. Notre Dame needs to recruit the best wide receivers that fit Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, exactly. Be like the Bears. Go address exactly what you need. You need 2 guards.
Hey, man, don't get me hyped again. Now, don't get me hyped again. Don't get me hyped again. I'm trying to balance myself. I'm trying to balance myself. Did you see? Wait a minute. You see Amon-Ra? ONORA sounded real scared on their podcast today. That's all I'm saying. I hit KG. I said, your boy sounds shook. He sound like Mobb Deep. He's one of them shook ones. He sounded like Mobb Deep right now.
When they lost
talking to
EB,
talking to EB like, man. But the Bears, man, how much money they got? Every time I wake up, the Bears, they signing somebody. Every time, man. I'm like, dude, don't worry about us.
Y'all are giving away picks now. Y'all willy-nilly giving away picks. Y'all comfortable with that? Chicago? Y'all making trades, but y'all giving up hella picks. It's like y'all trying to win right now.
So, left with that information that I just laid out, how are you feeling about USC Clemson being ultra aggressive and what Notre Dame needs to do? Just handle business.
Yeah, the teams that need to be aggressive like they are built on, still having the strategy of having the best players in order to win, instead of focusing on all the other things like the coaching, the GM, your personnel people that can help grow and develop these players in the meantime. So, and the way we recruiting two-way players and two-way guys and all these certs and qualifications that you need to get as a Notre Dame player, we already know that people are catching up to the model of having two-way players throughout your roster. They're still on that old way of trying to gather up as many 5-stars, which has proven to work in some instances. We've seen Ohio State, gobble up a lot of 5-stars and pay them a bunch of money. But, the 5-stars they got are a little different. 5-stars are obviously good, but I think the realization that we're not looking to chase 5-stars and waste a bunch of time when we can find guys that fit, I think is very important when you're talking about the type of offense that we have, specifically from a role-playing position. You got Jeremiah Love, one of the best running backs in the country, no doubt about it. And he's a role player in a sense to where we're not burning him out on having Ashton Genty type of carries, but he's very effective and he's specific in his abilities, which is why he's still able to shine in the moments in which he does get the ball. Especially like a guy like Aeneas Williams, same thing. Very third down, is versatile, can catch it, can run in different sets when you go lighter boxes. So, the ability to fit in the role, I think, makes more sense when you're trying to develop a team for a 16-game period, because then you don't have to worry about, okay, we got to nurture and feed and support this 5-star, forcing him in the lineup when he's not ready and really raw. We don't have that pressure of putting him out there, or if we don't meet the expectation needs of playing time, he's going to leave within the first couple months and dealing with that and the retention. So getting guys that want to be in the building to grow in a program where they can trust. I mean, Notre Dame, if we evaluate it and we take a step back and look at it, most guys aren't leaving Notre Dame. And the ones that are leaving for the same reason why coaches are leaving is because they want to get to another level where they feel like they've done all they can here and they see the writing on the wall. It's not necessarily a bad ending, more of, that business decision. So other teams are still chasing that model of 5-stars and having the most will get you close. That's I like that. Having 5-stars, the most will get you close, and we're going two-way or no way. And I think our model proves to last longer throughout a season, and it helps keep a healthier roster because you can flip a guy like Emil Wagner, you can flip a guy like Xavier Watts, you can flip a guy and play younger guys in different spots when they're versatile, and you can fill the holes and where you have a lack. I mean, we was putting Lorenzo Styles on offense, and then now he's playing defense. So I think the way we're building our roster helps, along with hiring the right personnel and player personnel people, because it's all about fit. And the way Marcus Freeman is doing it, he's buffering it with legacy players. He's buffering it with NFL personnel and NFL coaches. He's buffering it with getting two-way guys. He's buffering it with great coaches that can develop but also recruit. So, yeah, we may not have the one unit of having a 5-star player, but we have 5-star development. We have 5-star recruiters, 5-star a roster where you got two-way players that are getting a little bit more out of just sitting on the sidelines. So I do think that people can find really good comfort in the fact that in the spots that we need, O-line's going to be there, tight end's going to be there, and the ones that we need to grow are obvious. You got the quarterback, your receiver, but your running backs is stable. So you see the pieces we're we're building and holding on to, where as a fan you're looking at it like, oh, we just need to fill a couple spots here, fill a couple spots here. We're not thinking, oh my God, he's the best recruit in the class, we got to get him, because the cupboards aren't bare at Notre Dame. And if some teams think they can just ride on pure 5-star talent, I just don't think that's Notre Dame's model, because we do got coaches that are putting in a good investment on kids where they can trust the process to where they're not just if they're coming to Notre Dame, they're staying at Notre Dame. Now you may get your one-offs like your Rico Flores that stay a year, go a year, or even the ones that are frustrated stay at least 2. try to wait it out. Now that brings in that Notre Dame influence of you ain't trying to leave that degree. You're gonna naturally give it 2-3 years because you ain't leaving a degree once you get in there. Now there's a couple guys that it doesn't matter much to, but if usually 90%, 93% of guys that are taking the commitment to Notre Dame already locked in for 2 to 3 years. They just locked in. It's just like, well, I'm at least getting the degree. I know I'm not. You see it happen with the linemen all the time. The linemen that aren't playing, they take their lumps, they get their degree, and then they do something different. So it's either you go to the league or you get a degree when you at the O-line. Ain't no in between. You might transfer at the end, but you ain't transferring that first year. I don't see it. Charles Jackson could have did that. Didn't like what was going on, whatever, the injury, whatever. But no, like if you can get guys like Riley Mills, a Fauski, some of these prominent guys to come back when they don't have to, it just shows where the growth of the program is. So Marcus Freeman doesn't have to chase 5 stars. Not saying he can build them, because some 5 stars you just can't build, like a Jeremiah Smith. But you have collective team efforts that end up showing up when they're supposed to, because of the fits. When you go against teams like Georgia, where we may not have the flashy names, but that's a hard team to beat. You got to be good on all 3 phases of the game, where a lot of teams in college football aren't. Some are defensive loaded, offensive loaded. They're good but not great. Notre Dame happened to be one of the 2-3 teams in the country, final 2 teams in the country, that you had to play good in all 3 phases to win. And that's how Marcus Freeman is building a roster. He's not just looking at it like, oh, I need an Arch Manning, I'm good, I don't need to do nothing else, right?
So, Left, you and I saw something earlier today that we want to insert into this conversation as we talk about recruiting, wide receiver recruiting exploding. The market is absolutely insane. Aggressively, Clemson. Aggressively, USC. Why? Because they're in the same position, chasing the same way Notre Dame was 3 years ago. Notre Dame was chasing. Yep. Now, Notre Dame is the hunted. So now they have to transform or think about transforming who they are in recruiting.
And there's got to be,
because they were under Chad Bolton, they were the aggressive recruiting. Everybody would get excited. Like, oh, Notre Dame's cooking. Notre Dame's cooking. So now Notre Dame cooking is not getting early commits. Like you said it, Left. Offensive linemen are going to commit to Notre Dame early forever. They have 3 offensive linemen committed in the 26 class already. That's forever.
But that's the golden ticket. That's like, you get one of them, you better not play with it. That's
right. You get that Notre Dame offer as an offensive lineman, it's like, hey.
Yeah. Because then you start thinking how receivers aren't thinking about Notre Dame. You start thinking as a Notre Dame offensive line recruit, oh, Zach Martin, Nick Martin, Ronnie Stanley just got paid, Q Nelson the Beast, oh, Liam Eichenberg, oh, Aaron Banks I just saw got the bag, Robert Hainsey, so you're like, oh, I'm putting it together. Yeah, if I go to Notre Dame, I'm set. Like I've already envisioned and seen the path already put in front of me just from having the offer. Because you know what's coming after the offer. I just got to do what I'm supposed to do. And if I'm getting called to Notre Dame, that's like an Ohio State receiver like Chris Henry Jr. getting called to Ohio State. From being the brotherhood of receivers. That's the one thing Marcus Freeman can't get over the hump. He can't show you the cabinet of all-stars and first-round picks and superstars in the receiver room. They like the little house tour, but they ain't looking to put down the 10%. They're like, oh, okay, this is nice. I can, get comfortable, but they ain't looking for a long-term stay. When you got that Ohio State receiver room and a guy like Cardinal Tate looking around like, man, I see him on Sunday. I see him at the Blitnikoff. He has amazing plays. He's a top receiver. He's okay. It's making sense. He go to Notre Dame's room. He's like, man, I love it here, but shoot, the cupboard is bare. They got less than 3,000 yards. Shoot, even if I like it, what is it going to be like? I'm talking to the other receivers there. They talk about release packages and watching YouTube, and they don't get this. You got guys converted from safety and running back, and this is like a little potluck in the receiver room. A bunch of guys from different places and stuff. So I think it wasn't the sexiness stopped after you got down the hallways and start looking through the rooms and everything. So I think that's what Marcus Freeman has to bring in. Now you're getting the niche where now we got NFL son locker room. Okay, we got, Plexico Bears, we got his son, we got Jerome Bettis' son, Brian Urlacher's son, Ryan Clark's son came through, right? Like, that's our little niche, you hang around them guys, some of that NFL may shed off you. You never know. But that's the cool thing about what Marcus Freeman is doing. He's making it seem less impossible. Before it was like, oh, we can never get 5 stars. Oh, we don't even recruit those guys. Now it's like, okay, we finding guys that fit us, which is way better anyway. Way better to coach, way better to manage, have better expectations on guys staying because you're getting guys that want to be there. Not like the Texas A&M debacle on the Jimbo where he's just trying to buy his way to a good locker room. Some guys may not even like it being there. You never know. So, 9 times out of 10, guys that are committing to Notre Dame at least want to commit, or guys that are bought in to the program and they understand that it's not like the NBA where you're one and done. You're going to spend some time in the process and understand your role. But I like what the receiver at Colorado said at the Combine. He said, I wanted to show that I can be a good role player. You may not have to give me first receiver money, but I can survive in the league by being a 2 or 3 receiver, get open when I need to, that kind of thing. So I think that's the cool part about where college football is transitioning to is who can be a serviceable player. The 5 stars, it's only so many a year, right? And the way recruiting has gone for 5 stars, you got to have a little bundle package.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this, Left. We put evidence up on the board, something we want to talk about, but I just want to say this, dude. It might be a little petty, so you might want to put me on the petty train, Left. I'm cool with that, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not flawless. I fall short sometimes, but it's a lot of people that cover Notre Dame that's really they're being huggers today. I'll leave it at that. Y'all, they're being huggers.
Not the huggers.
They're being huggers. Yeah, they're being huggers.
Glazers are out.
They glazing and hugging Chad today, and it's like relax, man. Like relax. Like let's not over exaggerate what's going on. Like, dude, I would much rather be where Notre Dame is than where USC is as a program. Relax.
Because USC got to play consistently.
Relax. I'll just leave it at that. I could go further. But here we have something that you and I saw, and it is courtesy of On3. So we're assuming that their numbers are correct. The number of 5-stars signed in the CFP era left, that is 2014 through 2025, the last 12 years. As you see, Alabama, 55. Alabama, you know, when you make that type of investment, safe to say they got the championships. They got the fruit. Georgia,
the top 3 paid. Well, top 4 paid off.
Yes, that's what I want to say. The top 4 paid off, and then LSU paid one off, and Michigan paid one off.
Michigan did it though with more 3-4 stars though.
I agree. And in that era, I think the majority of those numbers came early in Jim Harbaugh's era.
Yeah, it was
early on, when he was doing the satellite camps and making an impact that way. But I agree. But they got one. LSU got one. Like you said, the top 4, multiple championships in that era.
Yeah.
Top 4 all have 2 or more championships.
2 more championships.
2 more championships. So I understand the frustration of Notre Dame fans wanting to be in that group, but you have to be realistic. You will never be in the top 4 or with that group and getting 5 stars. It's not happening at Notre Dame.
We have to pick one. Because if we had we in the 30s with 5 stars at Notre Dame, we would never lose a recruit. We would never lose a game. We would be the hottest team in college football by far in margin. It's like, yeah, we can't have everything now. Even Superman don't got every power. Because if we had the amount of 5 stars the top 4 had, we would be a superpower as an independent school, as a standalone. Like standalone, we would have the best players, the most money, get the most money, not in the conference, not having to split no revenue, get our own deals, do our own stunts. They have to still talk to us to make rules, and we getting all the 5 stars. I mean, we would be the ultimate school to go to. There wouldn't be a better offer in college football if Notre Dame start getting all the 5 stars. Because what wouldn't we have then? College football wouldn't allow that to happen. Because they're like, okay, we thought the only thing we had over Notre Dame was getting 5-star players. If you can't get that, then what do you have? You don't make more money than us. We control legislation and things that happen and these rule fixes and all this other stuff because you got to go through us. We do our own stuff. We recruit different. I mean, it's just, I'm okay with it because I know that we've already proved that we can get there not having this stuff. And with a pretty, elite quarterback, we really be cooking with something. Which would then show just how great our player development has been. Because if we're appearing in championships and playoff runs consistently, and we're not even on the top 10 list? We're not even on the top 10 list. It just shows that what do these rankings really mean? Or that Notre Dame is just that different. You don't see BYU, another independent, playing in a national championship game. They don't get no 5 stars. Like we don't get the same amount of 5. So it's like for us to not be on the top 10 list, because all these teams except, well, hell, even Florida State, when they had 7 on the team, when they went 12 and 13 and 1 or whatever, all these teams have had success and have been relevant and have been in college football playoffs. But show me a team not on the list that's having some of the similar success like Notre Dame with the numbers we have at 5 stars. You can't do it. We're an anomaly. So that's why we're relevant, because we're not even close on this list, and we're playing in the championship game, beating the team with 49 5 stars.
Can you make it pay off? So here's this, whatever your plan is, Whatever your blueprint is, it has to pay off. If it doesn't pay off, it doesn't mean a darn thing. It doesn't mean a darn thing. We just saw this great example, bro. The Eagles have lost as many people in free agency as the 49ers. You know what the difference is? The Eagles beat the Chiefs. The Eagles beat the Chiefs. The Eagles beat the Chiefs. They got the trophy.
Yeah.
They went all in just like the 49ers, paid over to keep their top guys for a couple of extra years. The only difference is they got the trophy. And now they can, if we don't win it for a couple of years, we're good because that trophy is going to last us. That's why everything hurt for Notre Dame. Because if we had that trophy right now, fans wouldn't even care about Chad leaving. They wouldn't care about what Chad is doing at USC. We'll be looking at the trophy, holding it up like, yep, we got this one, though. Y'all can keep talking about 26, but we talking about 24 and what we did. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's the bigger thing. Notre Dame got to pay this off over the next 2 years. It has to happen. A championship needs to happen over the next 2 years because those are the guys you already have in the building. 26 is not coming into the building until next year. The guys you have coming in the building
the year after. So that's
yes.
27, like.
Yes. So 25, 26, make it pay off. Win a championship. Make your blueprint count. Because you're never going to be Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, and Clemson when it comes to getting 5 stars. It's not going to happen. Texas hasn't made anything pay off. And they sit at 5th. Texas A&M? Would you rather be the Aggies or Notre Dame? All those 5 stars. What do they have to show for it, love?
Not nothing.
Not a darn thing.
At least LSU can say we got one in the last.
They got one. They got one.
Yeah.
And I think they got that one because Joe Beasy transferred.
Yeah, the quarterback.
I don't know if Joe Beasy doesn't transfer. I don't know if they get it.
No, I don't think so.
So, ladies and gents, I understand. It's hard when somebody takes your blueprint and takes it elsewhere to use it against you. Like the commitment video that USC put up, using USC highlights against Notre Dame. Like Chad's being petty, but that's who he is.
That is petty, man.
That's who he is. That's who he is, man. It's like, and he might have a little bitterness. It's obvious he's a little bitter. It's obvious he's a little bitter and upset.
Living rent free in his mind.
Living rent free. But this is the thing, Chad. This is the thing, Chad. None of these 26 kids will be in South Bend on the 18th of October. None of them. None of them.
They can't help you.
You got to run it back with the same dudes. Whomever you add.
You inheriting. Yeah, that you inheriting.
Same dudes. And it's going to hurt when the dudes that you brought to Notre Dame smacks USC again. It's going to hurt.
Because it's your fault, Chad.
It's going to hurt.
You had a hand in them getting shillelagh again.
Not shillelagh. Well, we got to we got to make a T-shirt just for that week. These cats got shillelagh'd again.
Yeah.
Cam Hart, ladies and gentlemen, told you about 3 seasons ago. We don't even consider them a rival anymore.
Oh.
We've been smacking them around for so long.
Don't even worry about it.
Nah. They got one with Caleb Williams. But since then, nah. So that's the wide receiver recruiting market and recruiting for Notre Dame. Stop following other teams and follow your own team's spring visits and official visits because they're starting to stack up. That's the most important thing. Watch the spring visits, ladies and gentlemen, and relax.
Yeah, that's the
Lucky Lefty podcast. Let's get to it. Is Marcus Freeman a top 10 coach in college football, Left? Is Marcus Freeman a top 10 coach in college football? So according to Athletic, they ranked the top 10 coaches this time going into spring ball each and every year. And Marcus Freeman last year was unranked He was not in the top 10.
That's some hating.
No, he wasn't. I have to be fair. He hadn't done anything to be
10.
a top.
Okay.
He wasn't a top 10 head coach. But I won. He is 6th this year. He's ranked number 6.
Who is he under?
In college football. Let me.
Yeah, because I have a very thing.
Freeman has put together a good staff, proven to be a terrific evaluator, and grown immeasurably in his job. Last year, the 39-year-old outcoached a lot of excellent head coaches, facts, including the number 1 coach on this list in the Sugar Bowl. That lets you know who number 1 is. Freeman has upgraded the talent at Notre Dame and seemed to change the vibe around the place. He's 33. This is impressive. He's 33-10, coming off a 14-2 season in which the Irish made it to the national title game and finished number 2. They went 7-1 against the top 25 opponents, with 5 wins coming by double digits. And they are 14-5 against ranked teams in the past 3 seasons. The Irish were 14-15 against the top 25 during the previous 7 years before Marcus Freeman got there. That means the previous coach was 14-15 against the top 25. For all you cats that still love BK, he is eclipsed in 3 seasons against the top 25. He has blown BK out of the water and beat the number 1 head coach on the list. Head up.
Oh, Kirby?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Beat him good and outcoached him. Didn't just beat him. Outcoached him when it mattered. It needs to be included.
So what you think, Lev?
I think he's definitely a top 10 coach. I mean, he's got Coach of the Year award. I think being able to live up to the expectations and then some.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact, because I think it's hard, man, when you already are quote unquote scheduled to be a two playoff team before you play a first game and you don't know anything about your quarterback and all the questions are surrounding you and the expectation of being better than the year before. But the year before you was pretty good. Like it just not at the Notre Dame level. You was pretty good. I think, if you was at another school, they would have said that's a great start. So, and then to have all that going on and then go do it with all things included, I think that has to put you in the top 10. And then on top of that, you're beating the coaches that are ranked above you. I mean, that qualifies you. Just if you beating the top 10 coaches on the list, you deserve to be on the list. So he's been able to do that and also raise the level of a program that was winning 9-10 games consistently. Look, Kalen DeBoer in his first year is not Nick Saban. That's like Marcus Freeman going down to Alabama and getting Alabama to the semis and into the finals, and right after Nick Saban leaves. That's the type of obstacles that he had to climb, being that Notre Dame is considered a top 5 program, no matter who the coach is. And to do this as a new head coach when, people have been coaching for years on years on years. So for you to get a head coaching job, that'd be your first place. And in 3 years, you get to the championship. That makes you a top 10 coach. What are we talking about? Because that's not even factoring the fact that recruiting and to be a great recruiter had to be included into that top 10 selection process. And he's checking the boxes on all of them. And just being a great representation for a brand that is very has a high standard. It's not like a out of nowhere type of program,
So,
hard to do.
Are you ready? You ready for the top 10? How do you want me to read this? You want me to read it in reverse order, or you want me to go from bottom to top or top to bottom?
Top to bottom.
Because it's gonna be. I already know it's about to be some cap in here for you, super cap. So you already know who number 1 is, right?
Kirby.
Okay.
They probably gonna give Ryan Day 2.
Ryan Day is 2.
Of course, you won. Okay, that's fair.
Recency bias.
Yeah, definitely, definitely
See,
biased.
this is my problem. Ryan Day has no business being above number 3. None.
No.
Dabo is 3. There's no way Ryan Day is a better head coach than Dabo Swinney.
No.
It's not even close.
Not even close.
What do we do? Talk about living in the moment. Prisoner of the present.
Prisoner of the present for real.
Ryan Day over Dabo Swinney?
For credit alone, you got to give it to Dabo. Come on now. Dabo moved up the list because Nick Saban retired. That's just how it works. Like, you can't even, So, okay, whatever. That's 3. Dabo's 3. Then 4 would be Dan Lanning or something. Because 4 would probably be Dan Lanning through popularity. He's the cool coach to play for. Who's 4?
Bruh, look, man. Yeah, let's go to number 4 left.
It's got to be Dan Lanning.
No.
It's Bill Belichick?
Steve Sarkisian.
Okay, that's fair. Whatever. He's not a defensive guy. I know that.
Last year, he was ranked number 11. Last year, Dabo was ranked number 2 in this same list. How did one championship jumps you over a dude that has beaten Alabama twice in their prime in the national championship game?
I don't know. It's prisoner of the moment. It's a prisoner of the moment.
Left. Come on, man. I'm done with the list at 2.
Yeah. Ryan, they just
5. Oh, you about to be real upset. 5.
Oh, James Franklin or something?
No. Because Marcus Freeman was 6.
That's what I'm saying. They probably try to put James Franklin up there.
No. Kalen DeBoer.
How? It's not 2 years ago. And the job he did, the quarterback whisperer, what he did with Milroe towards the end of the season, trash. Roddy Mills played better than Jalen Milroe towards the end of the season. And I don't want to hear nothing from Kalen, quarterback whisperer DeBoer. That was a debacle. I didn't hear about Ryan Williams after they lost to Vanderbilt. I was in week 7. So, yeah, man, Kalen DeBoer, you riding high on the fact that you're at Alabama. They're just keeping traditional programs above Marcus Freeman. That's all. It ain't got nothing to do with, definitely got nothing to do with coaching if you put Ryan Day at 2. So, we can take that. You give it another 1 or 2 years removed, Kalen DeBoer be at the bottom 10, where he rightfully is. He just riding high off of that Alabama, filling in Nick Saban shoes, but their recruiting is down. They're obviously they lost some games they shouldn't have lost, but it's Nick Saban's hard to replace. They call it Nick Saban Field.
Facts.
But he's definitely not, maybe it's because he was coach of the year, was it 2 years ago? So it's like, okay, you can't fall out of the top 5 next year, so we're giving you some credit on that.
Marcus Freeman is 6th, of course. Coming in at 7 is Dan Lanning.
Yeah. Popularity guy. He going to send you the shoes. I mean, hell, he
would be one of my official visits. I'll make it unofficial and an official to Oregon.
Yes, he got all the gear. So that's an easy one though. I feel like you're gonna be top 10 because you got the coolest stuff.
Number 8, James Franklin.
Oh, that's whack. I don't agree with that one.
Number 9, Matt Campbell. I actually respect this.
Matt
Campbell at Iowa State does an incredible job.
He's such an isolated team. Like, they don't get no media coverage. They don't.
Yeah, but they're
not cool enough on the landscape of top football programs.
He just has not figured out how to close seasons. They are in the mix for the playoffs or a shot for the Big 12 championship.
How are they different than Louisville? They're not. They're just a team that's in the mix.
Well, first of all, Louisville has a whole Matter of fact, I thought the general manager for Iowa State should have been on the short list for Notre Dame because his reputation is like tier 2, right under James Blanchard. I'm just telling you what his reputation is and how he goes about his business. Now you can't laugh at that because James Blanchard is at Texas Tech putting in work.
He better than the recruiter at the GM over in Syracuse with Fran Brown. No.
But you talking about somebody that's been doing it that has a long resume versus somebody that's just been doing it for 1 year. You can't. That's come on.
Okay.
That's
fair.
I can't. I'm not mad at Matt Campbell. I have a problem with number 10. Okay, I have a problem with number 10 because
James Franklin being that high.
I don't. I actually think there's an argument. I'm gonna keep it a buck. There's an argument, in my opinion, for James Franklin. What has James Franklin not done that Dan Lanning has done?
Dan Lanning's on that list.
Wait. I'm just saying. What's the difference?
We all know why Dan Lanning's on there.
I'm just saying. What's the difference?
Nothing to do with. At the end of the day, his cool factor is just you got it. You're at Oregon with Nike, the cool gear, the shoes. Like you can't lose. You automatically are on that list. Not even football related.
You know what is a flaw? Steve Sarkisian is an offensive mastermind and has yet to get the quarterback right. Quinn Ewers is his best quarterback that he's had. That's not getting it right, bro. Well, you tell me the quarterback that says Steve Sarkisian got it right. Tell me. Let me know.
He's had Bryce Young.
No, I'm talking about as a head coach at Texas.
Oh, he just started.
He's had what?
3
Malik
years.
Murphy. Yeah, Malik Murphy.
He never really played. It was Quinn.
Quinn was a transfer.
But Quinn's been his guy since Quinn's been there. That's like 3 years.
And then who was the other kid? The brother that transferred once Quinn came in.
That was Malik Murphy.
No. He had another brother that lost the game to Oklahoma to Caleb Williams when Caleb Williams made the 35-7 comeback. I forget his name.
See,
he's had at least 3 to 4 quarters. Will Arch finally be the quarterback? Where you're like, okay, Steve Sarkisian got the quarterback right at Texas.
I mean, as a head coach, I got to give him some more time.
Number 10 is Brian Kelly. I mean, look, man.
Brian Kelly beat Alabama at home his first year with Nick Saban.
I'm gonna do some more research. There are better coaches than Brian Kelly right now.
Listen, that's the win.
Because he's been very, for someone that specifically left his previous employer
as the winning coach.
Okay, I give you that.
Come on.
And he still probably wouldn't be in the top 3 all-time coaches if you ask real Notre Dame fans.
Because that's a popularity contest.
No.
Becomes subjective at that.
Does he have a title?
Okay, he's not gonna. But
Era has it. Dan has a title. Era has multiple.
You taking Era?
Lou has a title.
Kelly?
As a head coach, yes, he did it at Northwestern and Notre Dame. Yes, I am. Absolutely. It's not even close. You messing up. You barking up the wrong tree with this one. I know that's your coach. I understand that's your coach. You got a sense of loyalty to your guy. You know, you're committed to him. You're committed to him. You played for him. I just want to remind you, it's the same dude that did you dirty on the way out. I just want to remind you of that. I know that's your guy, but it's the same guy that did you dirty.
He didn't have
He did you dirty. But he did you dirty. Remember that. All this loyalty you're trying to show, just remember he did you dirty. I'm just saying you can find better at 10. That's all I'm saying. Lucky Lefty Podcast.
No coach has been there for 10 years, though. That says something. No Notre Dame coach has been there.
I'm just saying he left for what he described as greener pastures and better talent and has done less with it than his predecessor. That's all I'm saying.
He got a Heisman.
Okay. What was the record of that Heisman?
That's like Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley got a Heisman.
Okay. Lucky Lefty. Hey, man. we have a special guest, man. We have the special guest. Left, why don't you go ahead and introduce our special guest that we get ready to bring into the show?
Man, we got an author here, former leprechaun, great black man in the community, does so much for it doesn't get the much appreciation or the flowers given to him like he deserves. None other than Mike Brown, former Notre Dame alumni, former leprechaun, half man, half amazing, and a great children's author. How about that?
We in there. we in there. We in there, gentlemen. How y'all
Mike,
doing?
welcome to Lucky Lefty Podcast. It's a pleasure to have you on. Before we get into your books, which I haven't had a chance to read them, but just looking at the artwork, they look absolutely amazing. I'm so interested in getting to what inspired this. But what was it like? Take us through, like, what did you have to try out against other people, other students to become a leprechaun in Notre Dame? Like, explain to the Irish fans, like, how you even become one of those few and chosen.
Yeah, you got to have it in you. You got to have that blue and gold blood, they say, in you. So, but thanks again for having me here. I love this. And the top 10 coaches, by the way, are Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman. But yeah, so I had the honor of serving as a leprechaun in Notre Dame for 2 years. That's my leprechaun suit right behind me. And so I got it up in the glass, but I will break it in case of emergency. So if I am needed on the field, it's right here, ready to go.
That's right.
But you get put through an entire process where the leprechaun is part of the cheerleading team. And so you get put through leprechaun tryouts. And so throughout that tryout, you have to lead a mock pep rally where you have a group of people that are all able to come. It's an open tryout in that people can come and watch. But you lead a mock pep rally. You say, MALIK ZAIRE is coming out of the tunnel. What you gonna do? Everybody get ready. Come on. And so you lead a pep rally. They kind of see how you do with that. You lead a mock leprechaun situation where, let's say, you don't have a mic and the mic maybe goes out, or you're at an event. What are you going to do? You're at an event with some kids. One of the kids steals your hat. How do you react? How do you respond? The team's running late. You got to buy some time to do something with the crowd. So you make up a game. You do something fun with the crowd. So they see how you respond to that. Then you get a mock media interview with the leprechaun. You don't wear, the mascot doesn't wear actual head. And so it's the person. And so you are able to engage with the media. And so that's a special opportunity. But it's also a great responsibility because you can literally say something that might get you in a little trouble. And so they put you through those scenarios. And at the end of the day, there's a panel of judges who they then take all those things into consideration, see what the crowd reactions were like, see what the responses were like. And then they name who the next leprechaun is. There used to be one leprechaun each year. Then when I was there were two. Now the demand is so great that we have 4 people serving as a leprechaun each and every year. And they're at everything: football, men's basketball, women's basketball, volleyball, soccer, lacrosse, you name it, swimming. They're at swim meets, they're everywhere. So, and they're doing a lot of work in the community as well. So you are an ambassador for the university. So they do a lot of work in the community, visiting hospitals, schools, encouraging reading. I've actually partnered with some of the leprechauns to do literacy rallies where we'll go in, talk about the importance of reading and writing. And then they got the leprechaun. Like, I'm there as a has-been. I'm a former leprechaun, but they love to see the actual leprechaun run out and those kids go absolutely crazy. But yeah, incredible experience.
Talking about experience, what is the one experience? Because you were there, women's basketball has always been a great experience, to get a crowd fired up. I'm sure the energy was at an all-time high. The era the football team was pretty good when you were there as well. What's one of the most memorable experiences? I'm sure you traveled to like March Madness games and things of that nature.
Yeah.
What stands out? Give me your top 3.
Oh, top 3, man. That's a great question. So I would say top 1. I'll say we'll go 3. I'll say my third probably favorite was taking on Michigan State. And so we played Michigan State at home, and Michigan State was the first school that had an actual mascot that I could interact with. And that was one of the first games where I actually can engage with the mascot. And so when people think about the mascots and these skits that they do, you don't really plan much. It's like, hey, you take me down, I'll take you down, and that's pretty much it. We connected at halftime and said, hey, let's just do something fun with the crowd. And so he comes over, we're on by the student side of the end zone, student section. He takes me down, he stumps on me, elbows me and everything. And then I do like I pull my jacket off. I get up. You got to imagine Hulk Hogan, Rocky type scenario where I get up.
WWE form.
Took him out. I took him out. It was fun. So that was probably one. The other moment, man, was really when we played at USC. That was my senior year. We had a great year that year. When 9-3 went to the Fiesta Bowl, but we were at USC, man, and we beat them, right? And we were winning, and so it was not even a question. And to run the flag across that end zone, it's one of my favorite pictures. It's in the case here, but to be able to run that flag across that end zone, beating USC on the road at USC, that was just amazing. And then I got to tell you, one of my favorite moments, though, was at the pep rally. So people talk about pep rallies and homecomings at a lot of schools. So Notre Dame doesn't really have a homecoming. I try to explain to them, they don't get it, but every weekend is homecoming at Notre Dame. And people just don't understand it, but you got to be there and experience it. But we had pep rallies Friday nights before every football game. They've changed the setting now. But at the time, you know, you got to understand, I didn't grow up a Notre Dame fan. I didn't grow up drinking a lot of the green Notre Dame green Kool-Aid, if you will.
Yeah.
So it was a place that I thought was foreign. I mean, I thought Notre Dame was in Boston. It wasn't even it was like, where, I don't know where it is. But right, I get there and have a great experience, become the Leprechaun now, ambassador for the school. And all of a sudden now, it's not just me, but my family is coming too. And so one of my most special memories is when my mom and my grandmother were able to come to the pep rally at my last home game. It was against Boston College. I'm tearing up, my gosh. It was against Boston College, but it was a Friday night. They were there. And while I was at the pep rally, we're talking in front of 10,000 people. I got a chance to give my mom and my grandmother their flowers and said, hey, people talk about my energy. People talk about my spirit. You want to know where I got it from? Look at two people in the stands right now. So I pointed at them. They stood up. Everybody it was a special moment. But there's a lot. There's a number. I had a fight with the Pittsburgh Panther. I beat them down. Like we went 10. Anyhow, it was a lot. There was a lot of moments. I would say my top three.
So the legendary push-ups.
Yeah.
What's the most you had to do?
We played Navy. So we played against Navy. So thank you for your service to all the troops. But we played Navy in Orlando, and I want to say we put up 49 or maybe up to 50 points, I want to say, against them. But it adds up. It's cumulative. So I want to say that day, it was about 100. It was about almost 200 push-ups that day. But don't tell anybody. All right? Don't tell anybody this. I cheated. Once we got higher in the numbers, I went over to the Irish Guard. We have the Irish Guard there, and they helped me do some of them. I would get some kids to get involved and do some. So I didn't do all of them, but don't tell me.
You spread them out.
I spread them out. We got to spread them out. We got to have some fun with the crowd. But the Irish Guard definitely helped that day.
There's nothing wrong with that. So let's go into your passion. It seems to be children's books, and you have two absolute amazing books out right now. The Leprechaun's Game Day at Notre Dame, and then also Lucky to Have You. First of all, where did this passion for children's books come from?
Sure. Great question. So it came out of a personal journey of discernment during 2020. As you can imagine, that year is a year that a lot was going on, a lot of hate, amplified hate, I'll call it, political divide, global health pandemic. There's just a lot of social injustices were heightened. The awareness was put on the spotlight, was on them a little more. And I really tried to dig deeper inside myself to figure out what's my role. What am I supposed to be doing right now? I wasn't out protesting. I don't post a lot on social media when it comes to political things. And I was like, well, what can I do? And it hit me, man. I was on a run. I mean, a lot happened that year, but long story short, I had an inspirational series of events that happened. One book idea came. It was a book where I said, I'm literally on this earth to write this book and share this story. And that was a story actually about my late cousin. Her birthday is December 27th. Her name was Lil Netta. She celebrated her 6th birthday. At her birthday party, there were some kids who didn't get Christmas gifts. And so she ended up giving away her Christmas gifts to those kids at her 6th birthday party. And unfortunately, though, which is, again, an act, I mean, what 6-year-olds do that, right, at their birthday party? Unfortunately, she was murdered 3 years later, so at age 9. And so her and my aunt Cheryl, were both murdered 3 years after that happened. But it was her story that really jump-started the whole thing. And so I felt like that was a story of love, of compassion, of giving, of sharing. Like, I was like, that's the story I need to tell. That's what I need to be doing in this moment. So that became the first book, published that one. Got the Leprechaun book, which was an idea, published that one. Worked on another book about voting, published that one. We're now on book, gosh, the So Lucky to Have You book is book number 6 right now. And so we're on this journey of just sharing positive stories. I've been really blessed to work with a great team of creatives in terms of editors, illustrators, designers, you name it. There's a lot that goes into making books. People, I don't know if they necessarily have an appreciation for it, but it's more work than I even thought. But it's beautiful seeing everybody come together around, let's say, a project or a story, and then seeing it all come to life. The Leprechauns game at Notre Dame, man, I get texts and messages from people all the time. They read this book to their kids practically every night. You talk about drinking the Notre Dame Kool-Aid. We are pouring it and people are guzzling it, and we are so happy. So we have a lot of Kool-Aid to pour. But yeah, that's what's been part of the journey, is sharing these stories of hopefully of inspiration, of positive and encouragement.
You're talking about people really guzzling the Kool-Aid that is Notre Dame right now. Do you think it's a direct impact or effect of Marcus Freeman, as you mentioned?
1,000%. I mean, it's all, I mean, I think what's really interesting about it is I think there are a number of things, right, going on that are all happening at the same time. Just like in 2020, right? I talked about 2020, how it wasn't just a global health pandemic. There were social injustices highlighted. There's a number of things, right? So same thing with Marcus Freeman, man. There's just it's hard to describe what's happening, man, but it's a vibe. There's just a vibe going on around that campus, around all the sports teams, things happening outside of athletics there. It's just a vibe. I mean, even not just on campus, but I live in town now. There's just a different vibe even in the community around Notre Dame, and students overall just even being more engaged in the community than ever before. So there's just a vibe right now is what I'll call it. But yeah, Marcus Freeman absolutely is a huge part of that. Now I'm gonna give some love to Niele Ivey. Coach Ivey is my classmate, so that she was a national champion. Her, Ruth Riley, and the crew. So we're the same graduation year from 2001, and so I think she's a whole vibe as well. But I think it's all of it, though, right? You got Coach Freeman. It's just all of it. It's just working together, and it's working together for the good. It's just a lot of positive energy that's exuding from campus, and that dome is shining bright, and I'm here for it.
Hey, low key, now Ruth Riley is like super dope to me. She's an incredible individual. I had an opportunity to interview her when she came back from the Olympics. Yeah. And I actually got a chance. She let me wear her gold medal. She's really dope. She's incredible. And it's funny, Coach Niele Ivey, I don't know if I ever mentioned you. I think I told you this story, Left. Like, she was not only like, because I played basketball. So she was like, and you know, in Chicago, there is no separation. Like, if you're a hooper, you're a hooper. It doesn't matter if you're male, female. If you're a hooper, we all hoop together. We play together. We go to each other's game. That's how we grow up. And so, I remember watching Niele lead them to the national championship as a player, and she was one of my hoop crushes. She was like one of my female hoop crushes. Like, man. So I remember this true story. I met Ruth. I met Ruth. We do the interview. We end it. She let me take pictures. She lets me wear the gold medal, and then I'm like, yeah. So I got a huge crush on your girl. And she was like, who does it? It was funny. It was hilarious. She was like, who does it? So it was incredible, man. You talked about that energy that not only she's creating with Marcus Freeman, Coach Shrewsbury, the lacrosse squad, even the baseball squad has started off amazing this year.
Lacrosse is
hockey is in the playoffs, right? I think.
Baseball won, or I'm sorry, men's lacrosse won back-to-back national titles.
Facts.
I mean,
Facts.
it's happening. It's happening.
It's happening
right now.
Once again, we have former Notre Dame Leprechaun mascot Mike Brown with us, also author, and something else that he is creator of the cheer hat, and is in accordance with an annual event, and they have it coming up March 20th, 2025 at the Jackie Robinson Museum, a celebration, a celebration of Black Notre Dame alumni in France. Now, see, this is where this hits me in my heart.
Yeah.
If you've been paying attention to the news, in the state of Ohio, we've seen several institutions of higher learning eradicate all of their Black alumni events for all of the political reasons that you just laid out previously, Mike. So for Notre Dame still to be honoring their Black Alumni Association, I tip my cap to the university, I tip my cap to the administration, and I tip my cap to you and all your fellow co-creators and Black alumni for the work that you put in. And it's going to be featuring somebody that Notre Dame fans definitely should know. 2005 Notre Dame graduate and All-American Justin Tuck and Lauren Tuck. They would be the speakers. Just talk about the event, and if former alumni watching now, let them know how they can help and get involved with what you guys want to do in the community.
Absolutely, and thank you. And we couldn't be more excited about this. You talk about a lot of the things happening. We talk about creating spaces, and I think right now is the time to not lean back and kind of watch what happens, but it's really a time to lean in further on your purpose in being here and your gifts that you have. And so we're so blessed to have a group of people. So it's not me, of course, it's an entire community. It's a village. Like my mom and grandmother were part of my village. There's a gentleman, Eddie Faustin, Trevor Morris, the Notre Dame Club of New York, the Black Alumni of Notre Dame. So there's an entire community and village of people working together. Jackie Robinson Foundation. We're all partnering together. Troopers United. So there's a number of people that have been coming together to really bring this to life. But we felt the need to celebrate Black excellence. And I oftentimes struggle with saying Black excellence because I'm like, it's celebrating excellence, not just Black excellence, it's excellence. But I was like, we need to put an emphasis on Black in this scenario and celebrate Black excellence. And so we were blessed to have Byron Spruill as a guest last year, president basketball operations for the NBA, and Phyllis Stone. They were two guests. They just did a phenomenal job sharing their story, their impact in the community, and their why behind the work that they do. And then, this year we were very blessed and honored to have Lauren and Justin Tuck, Justin, two-time Super Bowl champion. Lauren, my gosh, she's a beast too, man. She works in finance. She now runs the foundation for the family, and they're just incredible people. And I'm excited for people to get to know both of them, besides just necessarily what they see perhaps on the football field or on social media. Like I'm excited for people to actually learn more about their stories and about their journey, and really about the impact that they're having in the community. They're big advocates for literacy. They're huge advocates for criminal justice and reform. And so they're not just talking about it. They're doing it. They're putting in the work, making it and having the impact. They're boots on the ground in terms of going out, volunteering, and putting their money behind things too. So, but we're excited to celebrate them it'll be March 20th in New York City at the Jackie Robinson Foundation Museum, which is a historic place. I've never been. I can't wait to be there. And people do get a tour as part of that event, and time with Justin and Lauren. There are sponsorship levels that are available, starting at $250, $500, and $1,000. And then the ticket itself is $150 to be part of the experience. People can visit solster.co/cheer if they want to learn more and register for the event, as well as find out about sponsor opportunities. So it's www.solster.co/cheer, SOULSTIR.co. I say it over and over again. People think it's Solster, and I'm like, no, it's Solster. But really looking forward to being in New York next week. I love going to NYC. and just looking forward to spending time with Justin and Lauren and really just celebrating again excellence. And it happens to be Black excellence right now, but it's celebrating excellence. They are just great ambassadors for the university and for themselves and for the community. So looking forward to being with them.
Once again, cheer, cheer. Celebration of Black Notre Dame alumni and friends, March 20th, 2025 at the Jackie Robinson Museum in New York, featuring Justin and Lauren Tuck, 2005-2006 graduates of Notre Dame. Inspiring Gathering is going to blend education, networking, and community empowerment while raising funds for the Fraser Thompson Scholarship, which supports Notre Dame students and empowers the next generation of leaders. So if you're a fan or you're a former alum, or you are an alum, not former alum, because you're always an alum.
Yeah.
So excuse me for the
All
mishap, but if you're an alum, get involved and help somebody reach back and help somebody else reach their dreams. I know the Notre Dame family touches me. My second cousin is a Notre Dame grad, class of 2019. She's now a big-time educator and principal down in Tennessee, and she talks about Notre Dame all the time. Unfortunately, I could not steer my daughter in that direction.
Yeah.
All my money went to the arch rival. I've been forgiven by Notre Dame fans.
I know.
So,
I mute half of your show sometimes.
Mike, don't do that to me, Mike. Hey, but fans said once they saw her actually performing in her career, they were like, okay, we forgive you for allowing her to go to USC. And I said, thank you. I needed that. Lucky Lefty podcast. You're talking about this wonderful event and how you guys are reaching out and trying to impact the Black alumni at Notre Dame. Just talk about your experience. Notre Dame's a special place. We talk about it, and it's different and it's unique. We talk about it from a football perspective the majority of the time, Mike. But you had a chance to experience it, sort of in a connection with sports, but outside of that as well. Just talk about the experience and how it opened how you came into Notre Dame and how your eyes were opened and how it kind of touched you and how that community, allowed you to get to where you are today.
Yeah, I'm grateful for the community. I'm grateful. I call it a village. I'm grateful for my village family, church family, hometown family from Milwaukee. But there was a guy, I talk about each one, reach one. And there's a guy who's a 1983 graduate from Notre Dame. His name is Mike Peterson. He's the guy that I met when I was a wide-eyed rising senior in high school. Okay, I had a woman at my church who gratefully gave me an opportunity to come work at her company. While I was there, I go to work. I'm working 4 hours a day. I don't know what I'm doing. Right? I'm a rising senior. I met a guy though at her company named Mike Peterson. Mike's the one who grilled me. He said, "Well, wait, you play football?" I was like, "Yep." I said, I'm captain of my football team. I was like, "So if I'm the captain and I'm the starting quarterback, we're not good. If you know me, we're not good." So nonetheless, I was captain of the football team. I was senior class president, top in my class. And he's like, "Where are you going to school?" I said, "I'm going to Marquette." And that's where I'm from, Milwaukee area. And he said, "What about Notre Dame?" And that's where I said, Notre Dame. Like, I know Notre Dame. I know the Rocket. But I thought it was a foreign place. I thought it was like somewhere else. Nonetheless, it came down to Notre Dame versus Marquette. I got a full scholarship to Marquette, half of a ride, if you will, to Notre Dame, and called my pastor. He said, "Hey, go with your heart, son." And my heart was at Notre Dame. Nonetheless, fast forward, I step on that campus not knowing anyone, right? I didn't go there for athletics. I had never visited the campus before I was accepted. But what I did go there was my eyes just wide open to embrace this experience that I had before me. So I dove all the way in. So yes, my time as a leprechaun didn't happen until my junior and senior year. My first 2 years, I fully immersed myself into the entire Notre Dame experience. I was part of every club. I interacted with my dorm mates, my section mates, people in my classes, you name it. A lot of the predominantly black clubs on campus, a League of Black Business Students. But I also did Troop ND, which was the dance club. So nonetheless, all I'm trying to say is I just immersed myself. Inner tube water polo. Have y'all heard of that? Inner tube water
polo. Please clarify. Please clarify.
I was playing at 11 o'clock on Wednesdays. We got in literally inner tubes. We went into the pool area, and you're playing water polo with like your section mates in dorms at 11 o'clock at night. There's something called broom ball, where you're basically running on ice in shoes, busting your tail like all the time, but you're doing it with like this broom and the ball. But this is at midnight. But I only say those things to say it was just embracing these new experiences, immersing myself into everything that was around me. Not just everything, but it's the people. So all the engagement that I had with those experiences, then you take in my time as a leprechaun, it was just this vast network of people that were built that supported, I supported them, we supported each other. We call it ND family. And it's the truth. People talk about, y'all just say that, but no, it is really ND family. If somebody call me right now, I'm like, hey, how can I help you?
Yeah.
But I think it's what I often tell people is that my experience was enriched because I really did focus on engaging and interacting with as many people across campus as possible. A lot of people just go to, just the Black events or just the, Latin events or just more predominantly white events, main events. We'll call them, I don't say white events, we'll call them events that majority of the campus may go to, but not everybody maybe attends. I went to it all. And I felt like because I went to it all, because I was at this event called Asian Allure, because I went to Latin Expressions, because I went to something that was called the Keenan Review, because I did all those things, my experience was just enriched further. But also because I did all those things, I think people were able to get things out of me as well and meet someone new and someone from a different part of the country or different area, had a different background than they had as well. So I think that's what made my experience one that was great. And then when the leprechaun thing happened, man, it just went up. It went up even higher. But it was just a great experience. So I just think wherever we are, no matter which school anyone may go to, no matter what company you may work with, no matter where you're from, it's one of those things where there's something, right, that I think you can benefit from in each of those communities that you can take with you wherever you go. But then there's also, I think this is what people hopefully should hear and hopefully understand, is that you are also bringing value to that community as well. So not only was Notre Dame a great thing for me, but I was also a great thing for Notre Dame. So I think it was a mutually beneficial relationship, if you call it. But it was just a great experience all around.
Once again, we're pleased to have former Notre Dame Leprechaun mascot and Notre Dame alumni Mike Brown with us. Before we let you go, Mike, don't forget, fans, don't forget the Leprechauns game day at Notre Dame.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? That's fire. That's fire. That's fire.
Yeah.
That's fire. You need to go get it right now. That's Soulster. They can get it at Soulster.co.
Yep.
Soulster.co.
It's right there.
Soulster.co. I want to make sure I enunciate it right. Soulster.co.
And the name, I'll tell you, Soulster is the name is because it was about creating soul-stirring experiences. Things that when you read this book, it's more than just a book. I think of it as an experience that you'll have in yourself or with the child. But I've had people tell me, right, they'll read this book, man, it just brings back so many memories of their time at Notre Dame, going to the pep rallies, going through the parade that from the dome to the stadium, being in the crowd, cheering. If you check out one of the pages, you'll see the coach, the head football coach. You might take a look at one of those pages when you get in, but the coach is fired up and cool. It's a great experience. And my daughter's 7 now. And when we read it, it takes about 10 to 15 minutes because we do all the push-ups, we do the fight song, we sing the alma mater, we do the cheers. And so it's an experience, but I hope that's what people get out of it. They check it out. Really appreciate the support.
Once again, you see it right there at the bottom of the screen. You can get all of those books from Mike Brown at soulster.co. I understand where you're at in life, man. Baby girl got you doing push-ups, bro.
Man, she want to keep going, man. So in the book, in the book we scored 2 touchdowns, so it's like, hey,
Okay.
you know, we're there. But she's like, Dad, I could do more, and I'm like, man, Dad can't do more. So it's a workout. It's a whole thing. It's a whole experience when you read that book. It's only on the weekends. That's a weekend only
Activity. Yeah.
But
so before we let you go, I have to ask you, man, what are your thoughts? Devastating loss in the national championship game. You know, man, absolutely intriguing quarterback competition coming up in the spring. Tons of talent coming back. They pretty much just rated all of the coaching rewards in the offseason. Al Golden, Marcus Freeman. What are your thoughts? Can Notre Dame make it back? Will they make it back? And will they get over the hump and hoist the trophy?
Yes, and yes.
Okay.
That's happening. Well, again, I think, you know, there's been a lot of movement, right, with different players leaving, coming, coaches. But I think we talked about it earlier with Marcus Freeman and just how him as a leader, not just, again, of that team, but in the community and across now Notre Dame nation, and not even that, but in the world. I mean, he is a leader, but there's a culture now. There's a culture of togetherness, a culture of positive energy, a culture of, yes, we can do this. Yeah, we're built for this. We go after this every day, so that when we get to the national championship and we're down by, gosh, were we down by 20? Was it 20? 11? Man, it felt like 21. But so when we're down, that's when you get this pass for 56 yards for a touchdown. That's when you get the 2 points. Like, that's when, right, you dig in and you don't lose that confidence. But nonetheless, I think there's that vibe that I mentioned earlier that's there, where I think we're just going to keep rolling, honestly. I think you need talent, and, you know, I think competition is healthy. I think it's good when you do have a competitive situation, because you're going to get the best out of everybody. And so I'm happy with where we are, and I'm excited about where we're going. And man, I'm trying to get tickets, man. So it's a grind. It's a grind, man.
Right, because now you expect the tickets.
Pass.
I thought you would have a sideline pass for life.
I got to wear the suit to get back on the field.
But Mike, can you fit the suit now?
Man, hey, you know what? I got my weights over here. I've been working out quite a bit, so it's a little snug now. How about that? It's a little snug.
That's right.
Well, Lucky Lefty Nation, once again, Mike Brown tapping in with us right here, Lucky Lefty Podcast. Do not forget.
Don't forget.
Go Soul Stir. That's Soul, SOULSTIR.co. Tap in with our guy Mike Brown, all of his books. Get into it. And then also March 20th, 2025 at the Jackie Robinson Museum. Justin Tuck, Lauren Tuck, special guest featured speakers to celebrate Cheer Cheer, a celebration of Black Notre Dame alumni and friends to support the Fraser Thompson Scholarship, supporting students at Notre Dame. Notre Dame fans and alums, get involved. Mike, we want to have you back on just to talk football anytime, bro.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Let's go.
Anytime. You know what I mean? We got to get you on some prediction shows, all of that during the season. But I want to speak God's eternal favor upon you and everything that you do and your family. That abundance and that season of abundance is right there in front of you, man. So continue to do great work, and you'll reap the reward in due season, man.
Man, thank you. Thank you both for what the work you're doing and the voice that you're bringing. I love the fact that we have the opportunity to create this space for each other, man. I mean, you think about it, it's lifting everybody up, and I appreciate your kind words and your grace and your prayers. It's been a journey. I mean, I talk about, we didn't go into a lot of the things that are going on outside of just the fun stuff, but I've had some health challenges, right, as well. But everybody's got their thing. But I'm very grateful. I'm very blessed. I'm very thankful for my village, for the community, and I'm just excited, man, for what's to come. We don't know what's next, man. It's exciting. Whether it's Notre Dame football, whether it's the Lucky Lefty book, coming.
Hey,
Lucky Lefty book.
I like that.
Lefty book
like
coming
that.
out, you know, so you don't know. But no, but it's I appreciate you. I appreciate the work y'all are doing and the voice you all have, and just keep up the great work here that you all are doing as well.
Yeah, I'm going to speak something that my daughter spoke to me in the midst of my health challenges, and I speak it to you, my brother. She called me and she said, Daddy, I don't want you to worry, because God is reshaping you for what he has in front of you. And I speak that to you, my
That's
brother.
real.
Yeah.
Whatever you're going through or what are you dealing with, it's just God reshaping you, because his divine healing order is on your life.
Wow.
You're gonna catch a word over here.
Hey, man.
Hey, that Mike 1 will always pop up. Mike 1 is always gonna pop up now. I stand fast. I stand fast in my belief, bro. I don't care if I'm talking sports. God is gonna be at the forefront. I'm not ashamed at all. So that's on you, my brother. Divine healing, divine order, and purpose. Walk in it, man. Absolutely. You're being reshaped for purpose.
Amen.
Amen. Mike, thank you, man. We'll see you back with us soon. Love you, bro.
All right. Love you all as well. All right.
Yes, sir.
Care. All
Once again, Mike Brown, former Notre Dame Leprechaun, right here. Lucky. Left, you know me. I'm not ashamed.
Not ashamed.
No, I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed of the gospel or my God. So, hey, at any time,
get a chance to highlight him, you're going to highlight him.
Hey, that's why I'm SD2 mics. That mic 1 is always on. Mic 1 is always a hot mic for me.
That's right.
Oh, it's always on. I'm ready to get it. Lucky Lefty podcast, man. You're not gonna keep me quiet. No, you're not gonna keep me quiet. Not when it comes to my God. No, sir. Let's get back to Notre Dame. Let's get back to Notre Dame. Let me calm down. I almost forgot. I almost thought I was on my other podcast.
Yeah, you thought you was on the pool.
I thought it was on my ministry podcast, The Morning Dig.
Yeah, you gotta plug that too. Plug it too.
NBC TV on YouTube, Morning Dig, every morning, 7 a.m. That's how I did it. Inspiration. But let me get back to Notre Dame.
You definitely have the crafts now. You in all different cups.
Hey, my cup runneth over, your cup runneth over, Left.
That's right.
Goodness and mercy follow all of us, all the days of our life. You know what I mean? We dwell with God in his house.
Yeah,
forever. Yes, sir. Let's talk about the spring battles, Left. Go ahead. Talk about quarterback. Of course, you kind of handicapped that a little bit yesterday. The quarterback battle. You kind of let it loose. You said, look, if we're just going off talent, we ride with Kenny.
Kenny should, if it's done right, Kenny should replace Steve as the starter. So Steve should be starting out. Let him ride the confidence of the team. But Kenny's talent should overtake Steve when it comes time to make decisions on who to have the quarterback be. But I think it's a good bar for Kenny to achieve in terms of being ready. That's the first test of being a starter. Can you take the guy off the top? So I think him proving himself that he can outplay Steve in a sense and gain that confidence will be his biggest jump into being ready to be in that role as a starting quarterback. And that's if it's done right. Because then as CJ have enough years, and then the next guy, whoever comes in, Noah Grubbs.
See, Left, I'm going to be honest, right?
Right. Yeah.
Something you warn Notre Dame fans that you just cannot transfer into a new system and then not play in the spring due to injury, not throw the ball, and think it's just going to be all good. You said that, right? And fans pushed back. Notre Dame media pushed back. And when it came out in the wash, and it was proven that the only guy that said something that actually played the position at Notre Dame and knows what it's like to don that gold helmet was actually right. Because you said him saying he's played in big games, he doesn't get it. You said that as well. You was like, he doesn't get it. He'll find out. But he doesn't get it. Even after that big road win at Texas A&M, he still didn't get it. Self-admittedly, he still didn't get it. And so now, we come into a space, Left, where this thing, it might be more about more than talent. Who can really handle it, bro? Who can handle it? Who can handle it? Who can handle the pressure of the competition? And just like Riley Leonard, I'm going to be honest, man. As much as people love CJ Carr, we ran a poll. LL question of the day last week. Who do you think is going to win the competition? CJ Carr won with 51% of the votes. He ran away with it, left.
Take it easy, y'all.
And then realistically, wait a minute. You have to realize, as Rob Hunt met with the media, that man didn't throw the football or hasn't thrown the football since like week 6 all the way up until the Orange Bowl or the Sugar Bowl.
Telling you, everything is.
He hasn't thrown.
It don't matter.
So he failed, ladies and gentlemen. I said I hate this for this young man when he got injured, because I was like, I think it's going to impact development.
Absolutely.
Setting him up for the competition. I don't like that because I want it to be fair. Unfortunately, this young man, it had to put him behind from a development standpoint. Had to.
Oh, for sure. Definitely put him. I mean, you got to think it's a rhythm that and with that rhythm, you gain your confidence. And he just hasn't had enough reps, in my opinion, or been through the process of actually being considered as a competing force in the quarterback competition to really understand and get ready the right way. He can say and do all the right things, but you have to go through it like Kenny has gone through it, like Steve has gone through it, before you just go think you can take over the world. Now I think that he has the ability and technique and skill to be decently good, but we don't have to put him out there as a raw talent or as a Bambi legs where he doesn't even have enough practice reps before you putting him in front of Miami's defense, who, by the way, looks pretty good up front. They got a big defensive front. Shout out Justin Scott, making him look pretty solid. But, I think this is not a place in Notre Dame's under Marcus Freeman where we're trying fresh quarterbacks out to where we need him to play. Like, we don't necessarily need CJ to play. It's not CJ or nothing. Mm-hmm. So let him come into this the proper way, having a year under his belt of being around a full season, healthy, learning, taking reps as it comes, and competing, win their spots too. But I think the mentality and the callus has been built on Steve and Kenny to where one of them has to take the mantle over. And I think if CJ is to jump both of them, I think it just shows a lot of what that quarterback room is. And it would surprise me if CJ can jump both of those guys in this very time. Because like you said, you're coming off one of them crazy injuries. What do you?
And see, that's excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, that's why, fans get so excited. And I understand because we all want to see next. Who's next? Like we were all excited to see Jeremiah Love get the reins after Aldridge left. But sometimes you have to read the tea leaves, bro. Like coming back from an injury that stopped you from throwing for 8 to 10 weeks, which means you did not practice.
And that's a serious thing.
You did not practice in bowl preparation. You didn't get better. You didn't have an opportunity to get better.
Yeah.
So now the next time you throw the ball actively is like in the spring. That's not ideal.
Not ideal.
CJ. It's like, dude. And then if he doesn't win the competition, don't turn around and be like, oh man, what happened to CJ? What are you talking about? He's coming back from an injury. He's trying to get back. And he's a red shirt freshman. Relax. All is not lost in the career of CJ Carr if he does not come out of this spring battle as the starter. Relax.
It is not a bad thing.
No.
And if y'all think CJ's that good and Kenny plays over him or Steve plays over him, that just sets up a better future.
Yeah. Yeah. So offensive line left. It's going to be an interesting battle. It's going to be interesting because we just don't know, right? We always hear, get the best 5 guys. Get the best 5 guys on the offensive line. That's what you hear. I don't know who those 5 guys are going to be, right? We hear great things about Will Black. Like, he is absolutely athletic, long, big, next great tackle, left tackle at Notre Dame, plug and play. Does he come in the fall and just, man, force the hand of Coach Rudolph? If so, then you move Jagasaw to right guard. If he moves to right guard, Emil Wagner has to be an anchor, right? The way he played, it's probably the most consistent player on the offensive line all last year. You go into spring with him as the guy, right? Those are 3 spots that solid in that particular scenario, right? Anthony Knapp, where is he going to come to? I'm getting feedback on your end, left. I can hear myself.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, you good. Anthony
Okay,
Knapp.
yeah.
Go ahead.
What
I'm
are
talking
we
O-line
expecting?
right now.
Oh, yeah. What I'm expecting from the O-line this year is just a total concerted effort on just being dominant. We had a lot of potential with last year's offensive line and the excitement that we have from the young guys filling in, and the potential of these freshmen that
Oh, we lost left. I'm going to take him off the screen real quick. But yeah, as he tries to reconnect, I just think, offensive line is going to be about getting the best 5. We don't know the best 5 are going to be. The spring will give opportunity. I want to see Sullivan Absher get an opportunity. Lock him in at one position. Is he going to play tackle? Is he going to play guard? Let him play. Let him compete. That is what they need to do for all of the youngsters on the offensive line that have yet to get into that top 2 rotation. With the departure of Rocco, Pat Coogan, now the opportunity is there to take it up to the next level and become part of that 1A, 1B group on the offensive line. It's going to be very interesting. I'm telling you now, I'm going to lose my mind if I show up to the first practice and Charles Jagasaw is at guard. I'm just telling you now. If Will Black comes in and forces their hand, I'm all good with Charles Jagasaw moving. Or if it's Strebick or Jones, I'm all good. Move him. But if you are just holding a spot for someone that is being limited and just giving it to him, I'm not feeling that at all. Now, the red flag is going to go up for me. Because now I question whether or not the best 5 are really going to play in the starting unit. That's going to be a red flag for me, ladies and gents. That's going to be a huge red flag for me. So, just gives you some food to chew on as practice starts on March 19th. I'm going to be less one of the first things I'm looking for. Right there. What's this first unit looking like? Offensive line. What's the first unit looking like? Where's CJ? Where's Emil? You expect Ashton Craig to come back, reassert himself, or assert himself as the starting center. But we'll see. The biggest red flag for me will be if Charles Jagasaw comes out in that first unit at guard. Then I'm like, okay, here we go. Here we go. It's my personal opinion. Lucky Lefty podcast. I'm very interested also in watching Jason Onye. Big time question. I think he has some of the motivation that a lot of people have given up on Jason Onye. After years of hearing great things in Springs and looking at a promising career, Jason Onye is in that Jordan Botelho role. People gave up on Jordan Botelho coming to the spring of 24. He used that as fuel to motivate himself to play 3 of the best games he's played while at Notre Dame. He was fantastic before his injury. I'm hoping, as you all are probably hoping, that Jason Onye can do the exact same thing. Use that same type of motivation to come out playing with his hair on fire and impact the defensive line. I'm going to be watching him. I'm going to also be watching Armel Mukam, another name that we constantly hear about in spring, and then we get to the fall in the season and no manifestation from what we've heard about. So, I don't know what seed is being sown, but we haven't seen the fruit of it when it comes to Armel Mukam and Jason Onye. We need to see that, Notre Dame fans, in 2025. The safety position. Luke Talich has an opportunity to assert himself. Stroman won't be participating. The safety they got from Virginia Tech in the transfer portal. It's going to be very important that you have a guy of your own kind of take the reins. Of course, you know the freshman Jadon Blair. He's coming. He's coming. And I would venture to say it won't take him long to start seeing action. But we can let him marinate. It will be a blessing to be able to allow him to marinate a little bit and kind of force your hand. Talented defensive players on the back end. The defensive backfield haul in the 25 class is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Mike Mickens was already cooking. But man, the flexibility, the work he put in the portal, getting Stroman and Devontae Smith, this is going to be an even deeper defensive backfield than it was in 2024. And could be even better statistically. And that's absolutely insane, Notre Dame fans. Absolutely insane. But I'm going to be watching that safety battle opposite Adon Shute. And then last but not least, I definitely want to see some of the things that are different under Chris Ash. We're definitely going to be watching that. We don't get to watch full practices until the end of camp, which I actually think is dope. I don't like it because I would love to have a full media allowance to start the camp. But really, the team should really be operating and practicing much better towards the end when we get to watch the blue and gold game in the scrimmage the week before. So that should give us a better look of what the team really looks like and who they really are at the peak of their spring practices. So we'll be able to report that for you guys. But I'm definitely going to be locking in on Chris Ash, trying to find the things that are different. He talked about fundamentals. He talked about certain things that he might have seen on film to help improve. I want to see what that is. What has he said to these assistant coaches to focus on in drills? Because I know the drills they usually work on. I'm very interested in seeing what is added and what is taken away. That's something else that's going to be part of spring battles and questions. It's going to be very interesting. Last but not least, wide receivers. Logan Sadate, Micah Gilbert, Cam Williams, KK Smith, Jaden Greathouse. Does he take a greater step forward? No Jordan Faison, no Malachi Fields. Huge opportunity. Huge opportunity for the youngsters, the freshmen, the redshirt freshmen, to take snaps, get an abundance of opportunity, and take advantage of it and solidify themselves in those top two groups and rotations. Because I see Notre Dame, we talked about it. Limited rotations last year, heavy 12 personnel, every now and then 11 personnel. That's what it was. Limited rotation, and they wanted to have the best run blockers on the field because they were going to run the ball close to 67% of the time. I'm sorry, 63% of the time. I apologize. So that It's something to bear watching. And I'm going to be honest. I know Notre Dame can win. And I feel comfortable that Notre Dame can win with all three quarterbacks. I don't know what I'm getting from these wide receivers. So I know I've said and we've said that this quarterback battle is the most important battle in the last decade at quarterback. This wide receiver room in the position battles is right along those lines. It's the most important offseason in spring for that position, probably in the last decade, or at minimum, last 7 years. It's right there behind the quarterback battle. It's right there behind the quarterback battle. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Thank you guys so much for tapping in with us. GTB question from D. Munt, Mr. Food Lover. I just seen before the show old highlights of Ricky Waters. You forgot how great he was. Is it fair to say J Love is Ricky Waters 2.0? I didn't forget how great Ricky Waters was. Ricky Waters is number 3 on my all-time running back list that I put up last summer. So, J Love is more explosive than Ricky Waters. He hasn't been utilized in the passing game. But then Ricky Waters came to Notre Dame as a flanker and then moved to running back. So their interest into Notre Dame was a little bit different. The usage, Ricky Waters was huge as a freshman. Special teams, huge return against Michigan, huge punt return in that big game. So J Love really didn't get the opportunity. He got some opportunity on kickoff, but you know, I would like Marcus Freeman to take the handcuffs off J Love and just let him do everything he can do. Right? There's rumors out there that he would be one of the best defensive backs if he wanted to play cornerback. He's that talented, man. It's like, let the man run. Let him out the stall and just let him go. Heck, you only have him for 1 more year. So let him go. Sean Stewart, thank you for the GTB question. Is Boubacar and Botello practicing? How much good weight should Bryce Young put on? I wish Left was here because there is a scale for each position and how much weight you should put on year to year. And I think probably just muscle, he's going to put on 10 pounds, 10 to 15 on muscle, I would assume, of just straight muscle. But we'll see. We'll see. If he can get to 265, 270, I'm comfortable with that. Him playing the edge, I'm comfortable. Him at that 260, at his length and his strength, 260, 265 on him is perfect. And Boubacar and Botello will still be recovering. Those are serious injuries. They're not going to push them too much in the spring. No need. You know who they are if they're healthy. You're not trying to find anything out about them. You just need to make sure they get healthy and can be ready in the fall. And even if you don't need them the first 2 games, they can win without Boubacar and Botello the first 2 weeks. They can, in my opinion. But I'm like you, I want to see them on the field as soon as possible, 100% healthy. Thank you guys for locking in with us. We'll be back with you guys tomorrow around the same time. We had to push it back 30 minutes today for the 6:30 start. But tomorrow we'll get with you right around 6 p.m. Central Time right here. Lucky Lefty Podcast. For Left, once again, we talked about Marcus Freeman being a top 10 coach in these spring battles, and then the wide receiver recruiting market just on fire right now, and why Notre Dame now has to recognize that they can't do things like they did 3 years ago. They have to change and become somewhat of the hunter and start to mix things up with being aggressive up front, but also being able to go after and continue to recruit people that even commit to schools early. Continue to go after them and then get a bunch of spring visits and unofficial visits to lead you into the official visits that are stacking up. We didn't get a chance to watch Rocky Dunham and Itade today on their film, But we'll lock in tomorrow right here at the Lefty Podcast. Have a great evening. Make sure you spend it different.